Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another interesting video here, this time in a Ford F-150 Lightning. This is sent to me by Kyle. All I'm going to say his name because his last name is a little hard to say for me. His car is attached to the computer, is BST Maintenance LLC. So his concern is long crank, sometimes no start. This computer was, I think, a year or so ago here for the same situation and is back again. Again, these are known issues for the spark plugs and coils. Another thing that can create this issue is the alternator battery connection. So make sure that you correct this in your car. If you have one of these vehicles from 2001 to 2004, Lightning, SBTs, they all have this situation, and it's not really the computer, but the circuitry is weak on the crankshaft position sensor signal on the analog to digital converter. So if a coil has started leaking out because it's shorted, it sends that signal onto all the grounds on the vehicle. So the crankshaft position sensor signal, being an AC sine wave signal, will pick up that, and the analog to digital converter is not capable of reduce it because it's never expected to have that. Again, old circuitry, old style. In the new ones, they corrected this. They put a more robust system and it protected so this doesn't happen. But on these ones, if you have a leaky coil, again, a shorter coil, a better spark plug or something that can, create a misfire, like even and the problem with Fords is that they have the misfires, and sometimes you not even see a blinking light because the misfire counters will not give you a flashing until it reaches 100. Again, all style Ford trying to keep no check engine lights to keep the customers happy, but the problem is there, and it will be too late for you to really actually see it. Same thing with an alternator that has a lot of AC ripple, a bad diode. It will send all that through the ground circuitry or power into the entire vehicle, and that will create, again, all these same situations. So this is for you and whoever has one of those cars to correct those situations. I would even recommend to put always original Motorcraft or Mastercraft, sorry, uh, plugs and coils. Those are the best ones. There is they saw. I mean, you can find online some of the yellow ones supposed to be high output. I'm a little afraid of those. They're too cheap, and that can create also these situations. All right, going into connections. I got everything ready to go. So I'm going to show you what I have connected right now. As you see, the cluster is up and everything. So I'm going to turn everything off so you can see the complete reading, because this is his instrument cluster. His computer is in one key. That's all I need for this test. So I'm going to power on. We're going to see the TEF light goes off and then the model reading. So that means communication in between the cluster and the computer is good. And he has no problems on communication, so he can read faults and all the stuff. So all that is good. All right, so we're going to first establish communication with the scanner. All right, so we will see the model because I actually forgot to read the bin from his file because he didn't send me a note or anything this time. So we will all find out shortly here. You can see 123,500 miles, so low mileage for a vehicle this age. All right, that's a good sound. It's a 2003, and that is his big number ending in CO7. Right here, CO7403. This is for Kyle, so he can see that this is indeed his computer. All right, so we're going to go over to the engine computer or PCM. So we're going to select this, ignition is on. All these are just normal pop-ups that all the scanners show, including the original one, which I have, but for the sake of video and easy for me to handle, the tap down is my go-to tool for everything. All right, I'm just going to select others in here. And we can go over to the PCM. All I really want to see is the RPM data. If I know it is supercharged equipped, If I know, I mean, I can see it and we will be able to see it on the instrument cluster, but I always like to make sure that we got communication, that everything is there. So I'm just going to select two pits. One is going to be the battery voltage and the other one, the RPM. I know that I don't need to really connect for this type of problem a lot on the computer or in my testing equipment. So, right, battery positive voltage, and we're going to go to engine speed. Let me just make sure engine revolutions per minute. All right, so we will have those in here. I can even make this a graph. Let me go back to make sure that we put both graphs in here. So we will have in red one. I wish we can separate these lines, but it's not like an oscilloscope where you can put those up and down. So let's change the battery voltage slightly. So I'm just going to select battery voltage is going to go up, and we can see how that one went up. All right, so definitely the scanner is reading. I'm going to go down 1 volt, and that is perfectly reading the voltage. So that is all good. Let's try now to connect and see if we see RPM. So everything is ready for this. I'm using the Escape V6, and this is the signal that I always use for this. So I got him to put in 300 or so RPMs, and we did see something trying to see. So you see the analog to digital converter is trying, but it's already damaged. You see with no RPM. So I'm going to try to go. Oh, it is right. It is now reading a little bit. So this is exactly what he's experiencing an intermittent, because you see, I went from not reading to reading. So this is definitely an intermittent situation. And I'm glad that you see, because right now I'm in 350, 500 RPMs. Again, nothing is reading. You see, so this is exactly perfect. We were able to pick up and reproduce his concern 100%. I'm going to put him into 700 again. And yes, okay, 700 is starting to read. Let me see, go up a little higher. So we can see that it's definitely not picking up always the RPM. So this is going a little higher. We can go higher. So we can see 3000 RPMs, so those are reading. Those are reading perfectly. All right, so let's go down to 600 RPM. And it's now reading. You see, so as long as it can pick up, you see right now I'm in 500 RPMs. So I want to show you that 500, and the cluster is reading. So it should always read. And the problem is starting. So this is definitely, no doubt about it, an analog to digital converter issue inside the computer. So I'm going to again put it 500. I can actually put it manually here. So let me see. I click in here. I'm in 500 and we got no RPMs. You see? So this is like cranking, 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 no start, no start, no start. The only reason this is happening and is reading higher RPM, because obviously with a higher RPM, it's more amplitude on that waveform, again, an AC signal, right? So if I provide a higher RPM, the analog to digital converter, it picks it up, but not the cranking. So this is exactly his concern. So Kyle, yes, I am definitely able to reproduce your concern. All right, so I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to open the computer, which as you can see, still has all my seal tags and everything in there. And I'm going to repair it, and we will see how this computer will then read low RPMs with no problem. All right, I'll be right back. Hey guys, so I also want to add something because I just noticed this. I just removed the bolt, but it's still not open. This is a problem. All right, so this is a JTech tune. Um, Not sure. I mean, I know that a lot of guys like to put tunes on these computers, but this can also create a problem. I am, you know, a little always push myself away when computers have tune, because this can create an issue that I cannot see, I cannot control. I'm not exactly sure what is exactly this doing with the RPMs or so, and that can eventually create a problem and it make it come back faster than it's supposed to. So yeah, Kyle, if you're running this, you're running at your own risk. I cannot be, liable. Let's say, if this creates a problem that is part of what is happening with your computer. I'm going to definitely try to correct the situation. We can definitely see the lower RPM the computer is not reading, but I cannot do anything with this, and this is something that you will have to deal with them. I have a customer from Hawaii that his computer got burned 3 times because of this, the same exactly JTech. And these computers are very expensive, so I don't think this is the case. Your computer is not burned, it's not damaged, but in his, it was not possible to repair, even replacing everything. So I guess these end up damaging the memory, and the computer didn't want to run. So I just want to add this in there because, again, I don't work with aftermarket components inside the computers. When you put a tune, now like your repairs will have no warranty. Again, I'm sorry to say this on the videos, but I need to make sure that everybody understand that. I can cover your computers when everything is stock. That's what I always recommend when I do these repairs, to replace coils and plugs and check your charging systems. And I need to have those invoiced if you want to have any warranty ever covered. If I don't get the receipts by the time I return the computer to you, then there's no warranty and you selected that yourself. So I always put this disclaimer because, again, this is expensive repair and I want to make sure that everything is crystal clear for both parties. I'm always trying to do the best and help all my customers, but when I see things like this, I need to address it immediately. All right, let me open the computer, let me do the repairs and plug everything back, and hopefully this is not the case and it goes back to Kyle working 100%. All right, guys, I'll be right back. All right, guys, finished the repairs. As you will see, now there is no stickers in here. So I got everything connected, so we don't have to go through that all again. And I was actually doing the test. As you can see, everything is working good. I'm going to all right, keep the scanner in there. So we're going to turn the ignition on in here. I'm going to put now 200 RPMs. And I want you to see immediately the instrument cluster with 200 RPM, so we can immediately see the change in there. I mean, it's reading now perfectly. I can increase the RPMs, let's say, 400, and we can see the change on the RPM. Very nice, very linear. All right, I'm going to turn this off so we can see the drop in there. Going to turn the ignition back on. And again, I want to read low RPMs. We know that the cluster was reading no problem high RPMs, but the low RPMs, this is where the problem is. It's like you cranking, cranking. As you can see, it's reading RPMs, no issues. I can increase it again. Let me increase it this time to 500. Make sure everything is nice and smooth. And we can see in there, all good. Let me turn it back on again one more time. We want to make sure that everything is working good. So terminal 15, 200 RPMs. And this is the test that I always do. Just make sure that it is indeed reading. That is perfect. We got a little drops in there, and this was just because of the signal that I'm injecting. It's not a steady in there, but that's, I mean, not a problem. All right, so let me now test it into high RPMs. All right, so I'm putting them in 1,000 RPMs, and we can see that in there. So let me go up to, and I can move the needle in here. Hopefully we can see the change, and we do see the change in there. Very nice, very steady. So we're around 30 to 50. All right, yeah, 30 to 50, so that is reading good. And remember, when it's in low RPMs, it's kind of like cranking. So as long as you're reading RPMs, that's all that matters because, I mean, the normal RPMs on this car is 750, 800 RPM, so that is completely normal. They're not, but let me bring it down to around 550 and we can see the needle. You can see the drop nice and steady. Same things in here. So again, when it's cranking and it's firing and everything, that is completely normal. But now the computer, as you saw, is reading no RPMs, and that's what I wanted to do: 200 RPMs, 200 RPMs, 200 RPM, because that's the cranking, 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 cranking. So, and that's what we didn't have before. All right, so Kyle, your computer is 100% repair. Again, with that in the back, I'm sorry, but I cannot cover warranties when you have something like that attached to the computer, specifically because I can corrupt software, and I cannot control that. All right, guys. Thank you so much for visiting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.